So we are more bound to refrain from sin. This is a simple fact. Number 4. Very simple. If you buy something really expensive, let me see. What expensive stuff have you bought?
My shoes.
Shoes?
The special shoes.
Okay. You don't want to step on your shoes because it's so expensive.
Yeah,
You don't want to wear it because it's so expensive. Yeah. If you have a Jaguar, a Lexus, and then you have a Corolla, and you're going to ShopRite, probably you'll drive the Corolla. You don't want to take the Jaguar or the Lexus to ShopRite. Why? Because it's expensive. Again, if you know the price has been paid for you and for me, you are more bound to refrain from sin. You agree? Does that make sense? If you realize how much price has been paid for me and for you, you have to realize that. That's why my drive to show you crucifixion, because that's the price paid. That was the price that was paid. A lot of people are, without judging anybody, of course that's what they see, that's what they see. They don't realize that there's far more to it than what meets the eye. So they don't really appreciate how much price had been paid. But if you see the real crucifixion, you will better appreciate what God has done. Then you're more bound to refrain from sinning. Does that make sense? Just like you have everyday shoes. If you're going to a wedding, probably you will wear your expensive shoes or your expensive jewelry, right? If you're going to a yard sale, maybe you don't need to wear your expensive shoes. I mean, how many more examples do I have to cite? You understand the point.
Yes.
Number 5. This is 7. 1557. This is what it says. Thanks be to God who has given us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. It was accordingly more fitting that we should be delivered by Christ's passion than simply by God's good will. Let's say you have a suitor. Do you remember your husbands or wives? Okay, your husbands. I'm talking to the ladies who are married. Remember, if your suitor gives you a pearl and he searched Passaic River down to the bottom of Passaic River to get it. And he spent months and months diving into Passaic River to find that. You probably treasure it more than if he just says, yeah, I saw it in a yard sale, and I think it's good for you. Which one would you treasure more? The one he worked so hard for. Yes? Yes? Did anyone get any pearl? But again, that's 1 Corinthians 15:57. There's greater dignity greater dignity? So it's like, this is brought about by either two things. So it's like a choice between God's goodwill or God's passion. So either of these two. Which one carries more weight? Goodwill or passion? Which one carries more weight? Passion.
Which one?
So,
Which coming out?
you put a star here. He carries more weight. Yeah.
Passion of God. Passion.
This is in line with the widow's mite. Remember the widow's mite? when Jesus says, well, everybody else gave from their excess. But this woman, this poor widow, gave everything she had. So that carries more weight. That would be an example of this. If God had to go through what he went through, as opposed to just out of his kind heart, okay, you're redeemed. Definitely, this carries far more weight. Make sense? Is this clear? This explains why Jesus had to die on the cross. For me and for you and for everyone. So now you appreciate better because it's a quite different angle from what you're used to hearing. We always hear that. Jesus Christ died for you. Yeah, alright. But when you hear stuff like this, it's different. It penetrates to the heart. And this is from a saint. This came from a saint. This came from a doctor of the church. Not John Chrysostom. This came from St. Thomas Aquinas. I said I should share this with you. So now, when you hear you have been bought, God paid a price, we have been redeemed. There's more to what you hear now, right? There's more to what you hear now than before. All right, get your papers. Do you use my copy? The single sheet. Weekly, okay. Last Sunday, John 20, 1-9. Confusing signs. Why is it confusing? Let me ask you to make sense of this. Is there something that you put in one place and you expect that to be there when you want to see it? Yes? Very simple is nail cutter. Oops, I have to cut my nail. I know I have one over there. It's not there. What comes to mind?
Someone took it.
Someone took it and used it and did not bother to return. Isn't that what Mary Magdalene thought? When Mary Magdalene saw the empty tomb, and I don't know where they put him. The tomb is empty. The nail cutter is not there. confusing. That's a confusing sign. Now, well, why is it so?
You saw him put in.
Well, why did she think like that? Why did Peter think like that? Number one, they didn't believe Mary, right? They didn't believe. All the 12, nobody believed Mary back then. What? Come on, wake up. He's dead. Why? Because their faith is limited.
But even she didn't believe it then. That's why she's shocked.
Well, at first she did, but she did after Jesus appeared to her. In fact, don't get near me because I haven't risen to the Father yet. But why would you think someone took the nail cutter?
They needed it. The nails were long.
No, why did you think someone took the nail cutter? Why didn't you think, oh, maybe I misplaced it? I used it, I misplaced it. So you start thinking, when was the last time I saw it? Right? When was the last time I saw the nail cutter there? Ah, then you have a suspect now. Now you have a suspect, and then you start asking. That's a confusing sign. The confusing sign is you must stoke up your faith. Jesus said, in 3 days I will build it up again. Jesus says he would rise after 3 days. He said that very straight. And yet, when in actual setting, it took time for them to recall that. Oh yeah, he said that. Remember the 2 men on the way to the road to Emmaus? One of the men was Cleopas, who according to my research is the brother of St. Joseph. And what happened was, they were walking and they were so discouraged. Oh, I thought we had the Messiah. And now we have no idea where we're going now. We don't know. Where are we going with this? The one we thought as a Messiah who will save us is dead. Very confusing. It's just like one of the, in kingdoms, when kingdoms go to war, the main target in chess, who played chess here? What is your target? Your target is the king. Because when you get the king, you win. In the battle of kingdoms, the same thing. If we can get the king, all his subjects will be ours. All we do is get the king. We can sacrifice the queen, but the king is what we need, right? The only way to win in chess is to get the king. The same way in the battles amongst kingdoms. You get the king, and you win. So for your notes, the confusing sign, hope and courage can become stumbling blocks. Hope and courage can become stumbling blocks. Why? Why is this so? You're hoping that he was alive. But where is he? Where did they put him? You have the courage to check on the tomb. But that's so confusing now. We got this hope and the courage working together, and there seems to be nothing clear. That's why it's confusing, son. Understand? Number 2, running to the experience of faith. Running. Why do people run?
To get there faster.
When the light rail is there, you want to run so you can get it. So instead of waiting for the next one. In other words, love for God is urgent. That's number 2. Love for God creates a sense of urgency. It needs running. Love for God creates a sense of urgency. Why did Peter and John run to the tomb? The Bible says they ran. Why did they run? No, you could have, oh, come on, let's go. Let's take our time. Let's just walk.
They didn't believe
They wanted to check the news. They wanted to check the news. There was one time I was driving on the turnpike going south. I was on the way to Orlando. And there was so much traffic on the turnpike. It actually took like 1.5 hours out of our travel time. Then after 1.5 hours, we got to the point where the accident was. And you know what the accident was? There was a vehicle, no accident, there was a vehicle that was stalled on the side. It was out of the way. It's just that people were stopping and slowing and looking. People were looking at what happened. 1.5 hours. Traffic on the turnpike just because of that. When something is not ordinary, people stop. People check. And when everybody wants is curiosity. That's why you need running. You're curious to find out what's wrong. You're curious to find out what's going on, right? So, running to the experience of faith. Love of God creates a sense of urgency, and of course, the relationship with the Lord. You want to run. Remember, it's urgent that you love the Lord. And number 2, if you are eager to meet God, you're eager to meet God. Is there anyone here who is not eager to meet God? You're eager to meet God. So eagerness to meet God. They wanted to meet Jesus. Really? He's not in the tomb. Let's go run. It's just that Peter was old, so he couldn't run as fast as John could. When your husband calls, come home, come home. Why? Something beautiful you need to see. What do? You run. Number 3. What does it say? Faith begins with experience of the senses, but does not end there. That's beautiful. You have to use your senses. When I was in high school, I had a column in the newspaper, Conceive and Perceive. That was the title of my column. Every issue of the newspaper, I have a column.
Conceive?
Conceive and perceive. What's the difference between conceiving and perceiving? To conceive with your head, with your mind. To perceive with your eyes. You understand? So conceive and perceive. Now, faith begins with experience of the senses. What does it mean, experience with the senses? Sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of hearing, sense of touch, right?
Taste.
Mm-hmm. Now,
there's another, isn't that the other one, like the unknown one, but not everybody has it, like a sixth sense, you know, like a different kind of perception that not everybody has it.
It's not really accepted in science. As far as I know, there are only 5 senses
Yeah,
that everybody has. Pretty much.
yeah, that everybody has, but there's another one that, well, that comes from the Holy Spirit.
Okay, it begins with wonderment. You have to write this down. Number 3. First, wonderment and reflection.
Wait, like
Number
wonder,
3.
but wonder, like,
Wonderment. You're wondering.
oh, wonder.
You're not sure. Yeah.
Because I wonder, man.
No, wonderment.
Okay.
First, wonderment and reflection. Then faith. Examples. Experiences in life. A lot of times I told you, why do good things happen to bad people? Do you sometimes wonder? Good things happen to bad people. And then bad things happen to good people. Of course, good things happen to good people too. But we wonder about those two, don't we? So we wonder. So that's wonderment. And then what you experience in life. We have a friend whose son died at age 32, pursuing his doctorate degree, never married. He just had a massive heart attack at 32 years old and died. And the mother was saying, why would God take him? Why not me? So, wonderment. You understand? Huh?
No, I'm not saying anything.
Oh.
She's-
What are you doing? Oh. So, wonderment. You wonder, how come? Remember, God's ways are not our ways. And because of that, we wonder, what's God thinking? Why did God take him? Why did God take me? I mean, I'm old, this and that. So your experiences in life. And then, the events that occur. Sometimes, earthquake or fire will destroy someone's house. Why? They're such a loving couple. They're such this and that. And why this happened to them? We wonder. And that's the meaning of number 3. So faith begins with experience of the senses. But it should not end there. What are we saying? Faith must dawn. Faith must dawn. In other words, trust in God. Leave it to God. God knows what is best. So it should not end there. It should not end with your senses. You cannot say, why did God take my son? Why not me? It cannot end there. That's what I'm saying. It cannot end there. It has to, you have to grow. You have dawn, faith must dawn. Faith must set in. And you must nourish that faith. And believe and trust God that He did what happened is what is best for everyone. That's what is meant by number 3. You had something, Anthony?
Yeah. I'm trying to think an example, like what would be the experience of the senses?
Oh, experience of the senses. Give me one sense. The sight. You see a horrendous crime. That's an experience of the sense. 2 nights ago, there was somebody driving in, I believe in Brooklyn. And two cars were speeding in Brooklyn. And the first car hit a teenager who just came from his birthday party. He was on his way home. And the first car hit him, and because this other car was so fast, there were 2 of them. I don't know if he's chasing the other car or they were just speeding up. and read also read the same person. So the same person was run over twice. If you witness that, that's an experience with your senses.
And then that would be
So where does that take you? Does that end there? Or would faith dawn on you? Again, my example is bad things happen to good people. We can witness that firsthand. That's experience from the senses.
So it would be like, I would have faith that that person doesn't die? Or...
It could be, or no, the occurrence itself. What do you make of it? It's a sad experience. It's a bad experience. We don't want to see that, but we saw it.
Yeah.
What do you make of it?
Tragedy? A tragedy?
Okay, you can say, okay, it's a tragedy. Oh, bad luck. Then you turn your back and walk your way.
So how is faith?
So it's just like, that's what I mean. It doesn't end there. It doesn't end, okay, you saw it. Where's justice? Do your part. So you can cause justice to be served. If you saw something, say so. Report to the police. Now, where does faith come in? Well, faith involves justice. Number 2 here is constancy and justice. So it cannot end with that sight of that tremendous crime. It cannot end there. You see my point?
Yes. You may not get the answer of faith right there and then. It'll take time because it's happened to me.
That's why I said dawn. Yeah, faith should dawn. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, in the future, in life as you go on,
Sure.
sooner or later that will come back to you. You'll remember that incident, and so that goes not right away.
Remember my story? I'm sorry, I have to say that again. Remember the story? I was on the way to church with them, and I saw this woman who was walking towards the church. And because we were kind of just in time for Mass, I just proceeded. But as I was entering the church ground, I changed my mind and went around and headed back outside, hoping to see that old woman, but I never saw her again. I even remember the color of her dress, so I was looking in the church itself, see if I could find her, but I never did. So it dawned on me, could that be Jesus? You saw what I mean? Then faith dawned. What have I done? I have fallen short. I have fallen short. And I have first-hand experience that happened to me. So experience with my senses, I saw the lady. And I have let her down. Although, probably God would say, it's okay. Because I went around and I went back to look for her, but I didn't find her. Hey, opportunity knocks but once. You may not pass this way again. So when opportunity is here, do it right there and then. In the love of God. Next Monday,